Hey bub, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Welcome back to the X-Centric Collector channel. I'm Talent the X-Centric Collector, and today, carrying on with the Nemesis BAF Wave, we're going to be covering Age of Apocalypse Gambit. Let's get into it.
Cerebro online.
Cerebro, pull up file Age of Apocalypse Gambit Nemesis BAF Wave 2025.
Accessing file Age of Apocalypse Gambit Nemesis Build-A-Figure Wave 2025. Retail price $24.99. Accessories: alternate hands, bow staff, Nemesis right leg.
This Gambit was a bit of a surprise because Hasbro said they weren't going to be doing any more Age of Apocalypse waves after the two that they had already done. And there were still so many figures that didn't get made, Gambit being one of them. This gives me hope we may see more peppered throughout the lines in the future. He came in the beautiful new windowed packaging and comes with a pair of additional hands and a bow staff, as well as the Nemesis right leg BAF piece. The artwork on the box is straight from the Age of Apocalypse comics, and there's a little blurb on the back that reads, "Gambit is sent on a mission to help correct the timeline and prevent the immortal villain Apocalypse from conquering Earth." Now let's take a look at the Age of Apocalypse Gambit out of the package.
Here's the Cajun from another dimension, or excuse me, another timeline. This is the Age of Apocalypse Gambit. This figure I never thought would see the light of day. After they did those two Age of Apocalypse waves, I'm like, the word on the internet was they weren't going to be doing anymore. And they slyly slid him into the Nemesis BAF Wave. And I am very happy about it because I think they could still do several more Age of Apocalypse figures, and we can get some of the more popular ones to go on our shelf with the rest of the Age of Apocalypse figures. Look at that cloak. Oh man, that thing is detailed. That looks awesome. And it's just kind of draped over there. It's not, you know, there's no pin for the back or anything. It just kind of hangs. You could pop his head off and take it off if you wanted. Why would you though? Because from what I remember reading the Age of Apocalypse, he was always wearing it. He has this card holding hand. He did not come with any cards, which I find odd because, I mean, they gave him the hand but no card. But you know, again, they've made a ton of Gambits, so I have plenty of extra cards that you can put in there. That doesn't look right. There, that's better. There we go. Yeah. So he's got his card throwing hand. He has a sort of a holding hand for the bow staff. He did come with an extra bow staff. Even if he didn't, I have extras. So he's got his bow staff. He came with another pair of fisted hands, but for me, I like the action, so these are going to go into the fodder box, and I will be displaying him with a flaming card and his bow staff, and we'll get him in some crazy action pose. But let's check out this articulation. He feels so far out of the figures from this wave, he feels a little gummy. And that scares me, because when they feel gummy, that means their legs start to warp over time. He's very skinny too. All right, so he's got a little bit of an ab crunch. Not much going back with the cloak on. It does go back, so you can see it's capable, but the cloak kind of gets in the way. You can look up about that much, down that much. Oh, he's got butterfly joints too. Cool. Yes. Very nice. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, pinless all over. Love that. Ankle rocker and pivot is, oh yeah. Yeah, he's got a nice range of motion. We're gonna get some sick poses out of this guy. And he has the upper thigh cut, no boot swivel. Oh, yes, and he has waist rotation, and that belt does help hide the cut a little bit. Yeah, this is a pretty standard Marvel Legend, but with a character I didn't think we would ever see get made. So I'm very happy with this. Some people like cloth goods because you can like move them more, and if you put a bendy wire in it, then it'd be really cool. But if it doesn't have a bendy wire and it's just like a piece of cloth, then I don't want it. I prefer this. But if they put bendy wire in, I'd take that all day. But yeah, good looking Gambit. He's gonna go great on the AOA shelf. Did you guys get this? If you got the Nemesis BAF Wave, I'm guessing you got this because you needed the BAF piece. But if you collected the Age of Apocalypse, I'm guessing you probably got it for that too. Let me know in the comments. Who skipped this? And why would you skip this? Unless you weren't interested in the BAF and you don't have Age of Apocalypse stuff. Otherwise, like, why? Because this is a beautiful looking Gambit. Look at that face. I'm going back to the other dimension, mon ami, to join the externals. Was that what they were called? The externals? Can't remember. Let's check back into that history and learn a little more about Age of Apocalypse. Remy Lebeau.
Gambit, Age of Apocalypse Earth 295, Remy Lebeau, first appearance, X-Men Alpha #1, February 1995, created by Scott Lockdown, writer, Mark Waid, artist.
AOA Gambit first appeared in X-Men Alpha #1 in 1994. Gambit's history in the Age of Apocalypse is very similar to his history in the 616. However, once history changed, so did the course of his life. As a baby, Gambit was adopted by the Thieves Guild of New Orleans, where he was raised to become a thief. The Thieves Guild leader, Chandra, joined forces with Apocalypse and became one of his horsemen, but she was later killed by Holocaust, the son of Apocalypse, during the Horsemen's War of Succession. During those recovering days, Gambit flooded the Thieves Guild clan and hid in the ruins of New Orleans that got destroyed during the war. Gambit first met the X-Men while they were fighting some of Apocalypse's Infinite soldiers and intervened when Havoc attempted to kill Magneto. Gambit intercepted the blast, which led Magneto to invite him to join the X-Men. The two became close friends. Later, Gambit became romantically involved with his teammate Rogue and even wanted to marry her. But the night he was planning to propose, he saw Rogue kissing Magneto, who had found a way to shut down her absorbing powers. Moments later, an agent of Apocalypse called Wolverine attacked the X-Men and badly injured both Magneto and Gambit. Rogue saved Magneto first and eventually saved Gambit, which crushed him. Heartbroken, Gambit decided to leave the team, knowing that Rogue had made her choice. Having left the X-Men, he formed his own group of mutant thieves called the Externals. With that said, let's take a look at Gambit's powers and abilities.
Powers and abilities, kinetic energy generation and manipulation, superhuman physical attributes via kinetic energy channeling, highly skilled martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant, expert marksman, stick fighter, and acrobat, telepathic immunity via charged potential energy, hypnotic charm, self-charging.
Gambit's main power is kinetic energy generation and manipulation. This power grants him all sorts of interesting abilities. One such ability is enhanced conditioning. His ability to tap into energy grants him increased speed, strength, reflexes, and reactions, flexibility, dexterity, coordination, balance, and endurance. Under normal circumstances, the physical charge he receives makes his abilities exceptional, but not quite superhuman. It also grants him accelerated regeneration, by which he increases his recovery rate by stimulating his own cellular activity. He can supercharge the energy both converted and accelerated to get more of a bang out of even the smallest objects, as well as giving them greater concussive or stopping power. When charging objects, he can prolong the detonation time of any given object to his liking. These charged objects can also be charged in such a way that, like he often does with his playing cards, can be used to slice through objects as dense as steel without them exploding. He is a highly skilled martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant, as well as an expert marksman and stick fighter. He's an incredible acrobat and, as stated before, his ability to tap into granting himself near superhuman speed, strength, reflexes, and reaction, flexibility, and dexterity, he has developed a unique acrobatic fighting style. He has some telepathic immunity because of the static interference, which creates natural static because of the charged potential energy that's always in his body. This shields his mind from intrusion from telepaths. However, this ability does not totally prevent telepathic invasion. He also possesses a hypnotic charm, a subliminal psionic talent, which is channeled through his voice and allows a subtle influence over any sentient mind. This power allows Gambit to compel others to believe what he says and agree with anything he suggests. However, more powerful minds have proven immune to Gambit's charm, and people who are consciously aware of what he's doing can shake it off pretty easily. On top of all that, he's multilingual, a master thief, and a gifted intellect. Let's see how his powers rank on the grid. Cerebro, please pull up the power grid.
Accessing power grid. Analyzing subject.
You can find these grids on the backs of various Marvel trading cards, as well as on marvelfandom.com. And our first category, as always, is strength. He's at a 2, normal human strength. He can slightly elevate his strength levels by manipulating the kinetic energy in his body, but at a base level he's at a 2. Next up is intelligence, another 2, average human intelligence. He may not be the smartest tool in the shed, but he is definitely one cunning individual. Next up is speed. He's at a 4, subsonic speed. Again, this is due to the ability to harness his kinetic energy to increase his locomotion to incredible extremes. Moving on to fighting ability, another 4, world heavyweight champ level. Gambit is a profound fighter, often employing martial arts, street fighting, and acrobatics. He is well adept in the martial arts, particularly Save, also known as French kickboxing, as well as Bujitsu, the art of using a bow staff. Although Gambit is not the best fighter in the X-Men, he is definitely up there. Up next is durability. He's at a 2. Normal human durability. He's just as durable as you or I, but good luck getting close enough to do damage, because Gambit is more than capable of evading most attacks, which leads us to our next category, agility. He's at a whopping 5, enhanced human level. He's beyond the natural limits of a human. This too is due to his kinetic energy manipulation. This makes him one of the most agile members of the X-Men, capable of feats that would make Olympic athletes drool. Moving on to our final category, energy blast. He's at another 5. Fission, capable of blasts equal to an atomic bomb. Whether he's charging playing cards, his bow staff, or whatever object he finds in front of him, Gambit can use devastating kinetic explosions capable of taking out even the most sturdy villains. Looking at his overall stats, he is well above average in most categories. With his heightened speed, fighting ability, agility, and massive energy projection, Gambit is perhaps one of the deadliest X-Men. We got a real good look at his true potential in X-Men 97, especially in that one episode. You know which one I'm talking about. Which reminds me, Cerebro, let him know.
Be sure to check out X-Men 97 reactions with talent. Don't forget to subscribe.
Definitely go check out those X-Men 97 reactions, and let me know when you watch that one episode, you know, the one I was just talking about, what you think. Also, check out my other reactions. So far, I've done Legion as well as Daredevil. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Every click goes a long way to helping the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate every one of you. That's all for this one. I'm Talent the Eccentric Collector, reminding you, keep collecting. And until next time, Excelsior!